Hi everyone, thanks for joining. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes, let some more people join, and then we'll get started. Yeah, so those of you who just joined, we're just going to give it a couple of minutes, and then we'll get started at around 5 past. So again, for those of you who just joined, we'll get started in a minute. You'll see at the top there is a Q&A section. So throughout any questions, whack it in there, and then we'll answer them at the end. So yeah, we'll get started in a minute or two. I've got a few in here now. This is being recorded, so if you're late, we can obviously share the recording afterwards, and it'll be recorded and shared with everyone. So I think we'll get started. So hello and welcome to this webinar on navigating cybersecurity market as an MSP. I'm Chris Ford, cybersecurity product manager here at Giacom. I'm joined by my colleague Anthony Heptonstall, who's our cloud practice manager. We're excited to guide you through key insights into the evolving cybersecurity landscape and how managed service providers (MSPs) can thrive in this space. So today we'll explore why cybersecurity now more than ever is crucial for UK small and medium-sized businesses, SMBs, how MSPs can effectively enter this market, what SMBs truly need, and how Giacom can support you throughout the entire sales cycle. And so cyber threats are becoming more frequent, with 32% of businesses experiencing a breach or attack on a weekly basis. However, only 18% of businesses invested in staff training last year. This gap in awareness and preparedness presents both a challenge and an opportunity for MSPs. So let's dive into this in a bit more detail. The SMB market is vulnerable. Typically, SMB spending is lower than in large corporations, and this lack of financial resource doesn't allow them to invest in enterprise-level security solutions. Couple this with the attitude of, I'm not big enough to be attacked, it makes them easier targets for cyber criminals. So let's think of it like this. In your organizations, you'll be working on large opportunities that will have a longer sales cycle, but you will also have your run rate business, so your bread and butter. That will be smaller in value, but a lot more regular and keep the lights on, as it were, while you are working on the larger deals to really make a difference to your number. The SMB in this scenario with these cyber attacks is what we would consider the run rate business. We also need to consider the impact of some on SMBs. Largely, this is unknown due to factors like underreporting, concerns around reputational damage, and often they don't even know that they have been attacked until much later down the line. You've got hidden financial costs. So whilst ransom payments, fines, and legal fees are easy to track, indirect costs such as lost business, downtime, and customer churn are hard to qualify. Supply chain issues and ripple effects of this are not always taken into account. So the effect of a cyber attack on an SMB not only impacts that particular customer, but can also impact their customers or their suppliers. If they can no longer supply goods to a customer, that customer also has a loss of income. And we also see a lack of cybersecurity readiness and assessments and processes in place, meaning a lot of SMBs will not conduct post-attack analysis to really understand the full impact of the attack. This moves on nicely to where the MSP can play a critical role in helping SMBs protect themselves against cyber threats. As you've just been through, many SMBs lack the expertise, resources, or tools to manage cybersecurity effectively, making MSPs essential partners in securing their business operations. So if we now take a look at cybercrime as an industry, it would be the third largest in the world. So this is just behind the United States at say 27 trillion, China an estimated 18.5, and then you've got the cybercrime economy sat at around estimated 10.5 trillion. So I think this just emphasized the sheer scale of the threat being posed to SMBs, the financial backing that these cyber criminals have, and the need for us all to work together to protect SMBs from attacks. So this leads on nicely to where does the MSP, so where do you guys come into this, and how can Giacom help you? So as we've just discussed, cybersecurity is more critical than ever, yet many SMBs feel overwhelmed by the sheer complexity of the market. They're often bombarded with technical jargon, endless vendor options, and the ever-evolving threats themselves, making it hard to know where to start. Human nature is, the brain shuts down when it is overwhelmed with information, and this is what we see with many SMBs. Many of them don't have dedicated security teams, and without clear, simplified solutions, they either overspend on tools that they don't fully utilize, or worse, leave themselves exposed. What they need isn't just another product, but a trusted partner who can cut through the noise, provide clear guidance, and deliver effective, right-sized security. If the industry wants SMB to take cybersecurity seriously, we really need to make it easier for them to do so. So the answer to the cybercrime isn't just the technology side of things. It's a business risk, the risk that affects everyone. In the UK, small and large businesses alike are prime targets, as I mentioned before, and no single organisation can tackle this challenge alone. It takes a collective effort, businesses, government bodies, cybersecurity providers, and industry leaders working together to share intelligence, strengthen defences, and make security more accessible. SMBs in particular need clear guidance and practical solutions, not just complex tools. By fostering collaboration, raising awareness, and making cybersecurity a shared responsibility, we can build a stronger, more resilient business ecosystem. The more we work together, the harder we make it for cyber criminals to succeed. In today's crowded IT landscape, MSPs that focus solely on basic services risk becoming just another commodity. The real competitive advantage comes from adding value, especially for SMBs that lack in-house expertise and are looking for a trusted partner, not just a vendor. By offering proactive cybersecurity, strategic IT guidance, and tailored solutions that align with business goals, MSPs can differentiate themselves. SMBs don't just want technology. They want outcomes, security, efficiency, and growth. The more value you can provide beyond just keeping the lights on, the stronger your client relationships, retention, and longer term success will be. So with this last point here around how we can help you as Giacom, I don't want to take too much and steal too much of Anthony's thunder later on when he comes on to how Giacom can help you. But this is something we are very passionate about, putting into place different frameworks and practices that you can follow to expand your understanding and implementation of cybersecurity for your customers. So we've spoken about why cybersecurity is essential for SMBs and where you as the MSP can come into this. So we really need to have a look at the how. So what are some of the things that you should consider? First of all, you've got understanding your goals and vision. Success doesn't just happen by chance. It starts with clarity of vision and well-defined goals. Whether you're building an MSP, expanding into cybersecurity, or scaling your business, you need to ask, where do you want to be in the next 3, 5, or even 10 years? Without a clear vision, decisions have become reactive rather than strategic. But when you define your core mission, target market, and unique value, you set the foundation for sustainable growth. Every investment, partnership, and service offering should then align to what that vision is. The most successful businesses aren't just focused on short-term wins, they plan for the long-term impact. So if we touch on that strategic planning, and for the purposes of this webinar in particular, we'll focus on expanding into cybersecurity. So this requires a structured approach to ensure you provide valuable, scalable, and profitable services. And here are some key strategic planning methods to consider to help you make a successful transition. First of all, it's understanding the SMB cybersecurity needs, common threats, and what is being offered in the market. Define your cybersecurity offering. So we would recommend using a framework of your choice that you feel fits your business. So this is things like NIST, NIS2, etc. So these frameworks will help guide you in the early stages of building your offering. They're a set of regulations or frameworks, you can find them online, designed to provide guidelines and best practices in managing and reducing cybersecurity risks. Then move on to developing strategic partnerships. So partnering with selected vendors that will cover all areas that you need, as well as partnering with Giacom to help guide you through this process with our carefully curated vendors. You then have upskilling and certifications. And again, this is something that we can help you with. We have mentioned it a few times, but SMBs lack expertise in this space. And demonstrating that you have these skills via certifications, whether that's industry or vendor specific, will go a long way in gaining customer trust. We then have operational readiness, and this is just ensuring that what you're proposing has a smooth integration with your existing services and ways of doing business. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, so establish clear SLAs and processes to deal with cybersecurity incidents. Make sure you are ready to execute on what you have planned and offered to your customers. It's also things like compliance and legal readiness. So I'm sure we're all bored of hearing about GDPR and so on, but we've all come across these things in our working lives. But this is not the only regulation that we have to be on top of. So make sure to do your research, things like ISO 27001, Cyber Essentials. Being on top of these can give you a real competitive edge when advising customers and building out your propositions. And then the next piece is just continuous improvement. So have a clear and concise L&D plan. Cybersecurity is an ever-changing threat landscape, and as these threats evolve and grow, so should you and the services that you're offering your customers to cover these. So next we then have highlighting your key value propositions. So in a competitive MSP market, as we all know, clearly communicating your value prop is critical to differentiate yourself from your competitors. So many MSPs will offer similar services, but value propositions set you apart. SMBs need to know why they should choose you over others. So this then helps you justify higher seat prices. So SMBs often see IT as a cost center. By showcasing strategic value, whether that's through cybersecurity, compliance, business continuity, whatever it may be, you move from a commodity provider to a trusted partner, allowing for premium pricing again. So addressing the SMB pain points directly, many SMBs lack that IT expertise, and you'll see that this is something that is consistent throughout what we're talking about today, is that lack of IT expertise. If your value proposition clearly solves their security, efficiency, or compliance challenges, it becomes easier to then sell to those customers and retain those clients based on the services you can provide them. And then, as I just said, SMBs don't just buy IT support, they invest in business outcomes. Continuously reinforcing your value, whether that's through security, cost savings, reduced downtime, it strengthens those long-term relationships. Don't just list the services, highlight the value they bring. So turning the intangible tangible, as we like to say. So SMBs care about security, uptime, compliance, and growth. MSPs that effectively communicate how they deliver these will stand out, command higher prices, and build stronger client relationships. So what does adding value to your services look like, and how can it impact your number? So if we take just your basic MSP services, so break fix, standard licensing, your standard support. So this would be like help desk and remote support, the basic Microsoft licensing, and then limited cybersecurity. So some of those built-in features like antivirus, firewall, and so on. Typically, we got to caveat this with, this is based off some partners we've spoken to. Typically, you're looking at a seat price of say around £50 per user per month. But if you were to then move into the advanced MSP services, so being very security focused and really a strategic IT partner. So again, this includes everything that I just mentioned in basic, but then you have some of the advanced security solutions in there, like MDR and so on. But then you're also helping them around the compliance and risk management, the zero trust security frameworks that obviously we can speak to our specialists about in a future session, cloud security and management, IT strategy consulting, all of these different things would then command a price of, say, up to £120 per user per month, depending on what space you're working in, of course. So the key difference here is that MSPs offering only basic services often compete on price, leading to lower margins, and does have a place in your solution stacks, depending on the customers you're speaking to, their budgets and what they can afford, etc. However, those providing advanced security and strategic IT services command higher seat prices because they offer greater business value, risk reduction, and regulatory compliance, critical for SMBs facing increasing cyber threats. So taking these into account, we have created the Giacom cybersecurity framework to get you started on your journey or help you take the next steps to build out your offering. So we'll break it down, and if any of you have been at some future events, you'll see some of the analogies that we've used in the past. So let's be real about it, cybersecurity can feel overwhelming, especially for businesses that don't have massive IT teams. That's why we've broken it down into 4 clear levels or layers, helping you move from the absolute essentials to full-scale elite protection. Think of it like upgrading your home security, having a more advanced security on your car, for example, starting with locks on the doors and moving all the way up to full-on surveillance and AI-driven threat detection. So if we start with layer 1, so the non-negotiables, so these are the basics that you just cannot ignore. So every business, no matter how small, needs a few bare minimum protections in place. These are the seatbelt, if you like, of cybersecurity, things that you can't afford to skip. So this includes your multi-factor authentication, role-based access control, and human risk. So that's education to employees and so on. If you don't have these, you're leaving the front door wide open for cyber criminals. We then move on to the second layer, so essential, and this is a serious business grade security. So once you've got the basics down, it's time to add stronger protection. Think of it as installing a home system, for example, instead of just locking your door. So this includes things like your firewall, endpoint security, email security, web filters, backup and recovery. At this level, you're not just hoping you won't get hacked, or your customers won't get attacked, you're actively reducing that risk. We then move on to layer 3, so enhanced. So this is that next level of protection for high risk businesses, for example. So for businesses handling sensitive data, finance, healthcare, legal firms, you really need to have a stronger security posture and security measures to meet compliance requirements and stop more advanced threats. So this would include things like your incident response, patch management, DLP, data loss prevention, your mobile security, and also XDR, so extended detection and response. At this stage, you're going beyond protection, you're actively hunting threats before they become problems. And then finally, we have layer 4. So this is the elite level protection. And this is for like enterprise grade cyber resilience. So this is for companies that can't afford a breach. This is the gold standard, like having a full security team, AI driven monitoring, and military grade defense as an example, protecting your businesses. So this is then moving on to things like pen testing, red and blue teaming, security certifications, SIEM, and also your MDR, managed detection and response. So this is the level where cyber criminals see your business and say, nah, not worth the effort. I'm not even going to try and get in with those guys. So something to consider on this is we are going to go into more detail on future webinars and some of the things that App is going to talk about, where we can go into a little bit of detail about these products and how you can stack them and so on. So if there's a lot of wording in here, a lot of product that you're not sure on, obviously we can touch base on that after this as well. So why have we structured it in this particular way? So it's a journey, not a one-time fix. Businesses can start at the basics and scale up as they grow. It aligns security with real-world risk. You invest in the right level of protection based on your exposure. It helps MSPs and IT teams sell security more effectively. A clear step-by-step roadmap makes cybersecurity less confusing for businesses and easier for you to communicate down the line. So bottom line, security isn't one size fits all. Whether you're just locking the doors or building a digital fortress, this framework helps businesses take the right steps to stay safe, stay compliant, and stay ahead of cyber threats. So I'm now going to pass you over to Anthony. As I mentioned before, he's going to talk a little bit about why partner with Giacom, but how we can help you get started at whatever level you are on this cybersecurity journey.
Thanks, Chris, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Anthony Eptonstall, Cloud Practice Manager for Modern Work and Security here at Giacom. So Chris has highlighted the importance of having a cybersecurity framework, and I just really want to discuss why partnering with Giacom is the right fit. So not only do we have a great portfolio of products to build a solution, our Cloud Practice team is designed to help you navigate the cybersecurity space and make sure you get the right solution for you and for your customers. So our product specialists can work with you to create a personalized go-to-market plan and provide support in taking your solution to your customers. So we've put together a bit of an example of what a journey could look like for you. Bear in mind, this is just an example and we can tailor this to fit your specific needs. But if we start with step one, so that's carrying out a business review to understand your business, understand what kind of customers you work with and the solutions that you currently have on board. Moving on to step two, is our go-to-market planning. So we'll provide our findings from the business review and work alongside you to create a joint business plan that works for you. So we'll make sure that delivering these solutions goes as smoothly as possible. Moving on to step three is when we start to take that go-to-market action plan and put it into action. And that starts with the marketing side of things. So that could be designed from one of our vendor and campaign in a box, from our asset libraries, or more personalized content to make sure that we get the right message out to your customers. Once we've done that, we start off with the sales activity. So firstly, we'd make sure that your sales staff are all trained up in the specific solution that you've selected, so they're comfortable having those conversations and spotting opportunities within your customer base. Following that, we could organize things like call out days, lunch and learn webinars, and some incentives for your customers as well. And then following that, it's all around following up on the leads that were generated by that sales activity. And then we can take that security business review that we did on step one and then tailor that towards your customers as well. So really understanding what their current setup is, what are their potential risks, and how you can solve them. And then moving on from that is that ongoing support and optimization. So the cybersecurity world is constantly changing. We're always seeing new threats coming out and new technologies, and it's all about making sure that you keep up to date with the latest threats and technologies that are out there. So I've mentioned the cybersecurity business review in step one of that plan. I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail about what that is. So essentially, this is designed to understand your business, ambition, and capability within cybersecurity space. So firstly, we want to understand your own security setup and what that looks like. Your customers are looking for a trusted advisor. So using these tools internally is important as it builds confidence and trust in the solution that you're offering to your customers. Then we'll discuss the challenges that you're currently facing so we can tailor our plan specifically to that. And then we'll move on to understanding more about your customers. What type of threats are common within your customer base? Do they have any specific requirements? And how do you assess their needs currently? Once we've established this, we'll look at the support and resources available to you, explore opportunities for improvement and how we can build a partnership together. After the review is completed, we'll go away and put together a bespoke go-to-market plan to support you in achieving your business goals. We've built the Cloud Practice solely to support you in delivering the best service and solutions to your customers. And on that note, I'd like to pass back across to Chris just for the closing comments.
Yeah, cheers out. So thanks, Anthony. In conclusion, so cyber threats are growing and SMBs need trusted partners to navigate these challenges. Together, we can create a stronger, more secure business environment. If you're ready to take the next step or want to learn more, reach out to us at cybersecurity@giacom.com to book in your security review, or alternatively, to book in your security review. Alternatively, you can use the link that we'll drop into the chat as well to fill out the form. There will be future links, and there will be another link that's put in here for a future webinar. The next one in this series that we're doing around cybersecurity is covering humans versus hackers. So the ultimate showdown that will be hosted by our colleague Harriet. And this is, like I said, there's going to be an ongoing series. We really wanted to kind of get into the detail of some of the things you mentioned. This is the introduction, and really how we can help you guys navigate through cybersecurity. So if there's any questions, pop them in the Q&A chat. This recording will be sent out to everybody. So you'll be able to watch it back. I know it's a little bit shorter than the hour that was put in there, but we wanted to give time for questions, and if there were any, but also we know how busy everybody is at the moment. So if you've got any questions, whack them in. We have got one around, can we lean on your specialists while we don't have our own in-house? So Ant, do you want to take that sort of sit within your team?
Yeah, I guess the answer is short and sweet. Yes, absolutely, we can. Ultimately, I guess it depends on your specific needs as well, but that's why the cloud practice was built. If you don't have your own security specialist in-house, please do lean on ours, and if it's something that you're wanting to create in-house as well, that's definitely something that we can help you create internally as well.
Perfect. That's the only one that's in at the moment, so if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I can't see
another
any.
one comes through, I think there, Chris. So what kind of support
Yeah.
can we expect after the initial engagement? So after the initial engagement, I guess it depends on what that initial engagement is. So I guess we start off by understanding your business and what it is that you need. And I guess the ongoing support after that depends on what you need from us. So if it's a case of you wanting to deliver a series of webinar, for example, we can offer that ongoing support to make sure each webinar is set up and then help you in terms of following up from the opportunities on there. So I guess that does depend on what it is that you need. But if you email us in on the email address on the screen, we can definitely discuss that in more detail.
Yeah, perfect. We just got one more in as well. How does your framework differ from NIST? So I think it's important to remember. So NIST, things like NIST, NIS2, as I mentioned before, they're regulations, best practice, and so on that some are backed by government and so on, and they're very much a standard. So, for example, NIST, you've got the steps where it's like identify, protect, detect, and so on. So they're very much regulations and best practices. Our framework is more around how do you navigate that and how do you build your solution stack to then tie into some of those. So, for example, if you found one of those frameworks that you identify with the most, we can then work with you on that to say, well, this is the journey you should go through in terms of what products work best for you, what solution areas you should be focusing on. So it's really differentiating between the regulation side of things and then the navigating the product side of things as well. So what's the best way to leverage your in-house specialist? So Antfast with you again.
I guess there's two ways. So the cybersecurity@giacom.com email address on screen at the moment. You can get in touch with our security specialists, myself, and the product managers through that. But you can engage us through your account manager as well, if that's your preferred route.
There's no one in here. Let me read it out. As I understand, cybersecurity is all about just IT. Do you offer cybersecurity assessment, which we can offer customer, where we can identify the issue and loopholes, which we can recommend customer solution? So we don't necessarily have anything that's specific within tool set. We've got a few that we can use through vendors and so on. Best thing to do here is we've got Anth and his team. So the specialist, Matt Murray, sits in that team and he's a security specialist. He can jump on a call with you, have a look at security posture of your customers, and then he can help you design and recommend a solution for that customer. And that'll all come from those security reviews. So if you need that and you need help with that, get that booked in, use the link, that email address. And for sure, Matt can talk you through that. He's got a few tools that we lose. I know, and one of our vendors, Barracuda, have one, for example, and Microsoft, I think, have an option as well. So he'll be able to help you with that. As far as I can see, do we have any others? Missed one?
Just seen another one
Yes.
come through in terms of product training. Sorry.
Yes, no. So yeah, in terms of product training, absolutely, this is something we can help with through support of the practices, so AMP's team, but also through support from our vendors. So we can get you on session with vendors. A lot of our vendors will also have certifications that you can go through and help you with the training on product and so on. So yeah, there definitely are options. If you drop an email over, we can look into that and get that sorted as well. Any recommendations to address budget constraints? Yeah, so obviously this is a hard one. If someone's budget is what they say their budget is, it's quite difficult to work around that. I think the biggest things around budget when you're talking to your customers is it's like having insurance, right? So when you have your car, you insure your car. You hope you don't have to use it. You hope you don't have a crash, but that's you're still willing to pay a premium to insure your car, right? So the biggest thing here is just understanding that they are likely to be attacked. It's going back to that thing I said earlier, we're too small to be attacked. But it's educating on the cost of inaction. So 60% of businesses, we mentioned earlier, 32% businesses weekly end up closing within a certain amount of time of being attacked. The average cost of a breach, for example, being around $200,000. So you equate that to pounds. So the cost far outweighs of an attack far outweighs the cost of being protected. And it's just finding what works for your customers. So offering affordable, scalable solutions to them. So it's starting off, like I said, at that essential base, right? You've got the essential, you're in, you see it working, and then moving up the case as you go. And it's just emphasizing that business continuity, the reputation side of things, but then also it's demonstrating the ROI and the cost savings. I mentioned earlier around turning the intangible tangible. It's being able to demonstrate and show them examples, for example, where you're saying you can look at continuity of work, efficiencies. There's so many different things you can do with some of these solutions outside of just it's protecting you, I promise. Do the security solutions that were presented come as a package, such as Elite, Enhanced, etc.? So they won't come as a package in terms of being a bundle that you can go into Cloud Market and buy. We recommend that you find a way where you could build it in, where you have it within your seat price, as it were, to your customers. But we can guide you down that route to say what the different prices are of the products, because we'll have, for example, a number of different products that will cover you from an EDR perspective, an email security perspective, and it's finding the one that suits your business the best, as well as your customers. So they're not necessarily presented as a package, but we can definitely help you in the conversations with the practices and so on, building out what that looks like.
Yeah, I think that can be something that we can involve in the go-to-market planning. So after the initial security business review, we can then look at what products are the best fit for you and your customers, and then we can help you in terms of how do you package that up towards your customers as well.
So what is the process and timeline for security reviews offered? Do you want to tell that one?
So in terms of the process, it's just a case of getting in touch with our cybersecurity specialists. They'll then arrange a call with you to go through the questionnaire side of things. In terms of timeline, I don't know if we've got specific timelines, but we do aim to get them completed within 7 working days, essentially. Just a question come through. Unfortunately, missed the first part of the webinar. Yes, the recording will be sent out.
We'll be sending out a recording to the full session, obviously, and there'll also be follow-up options for future webinars and so on as well. So that will all be sent out. If there's any more come in before I set you all free. What security product does Giacom use? I actually don't know what our in-house.
I think we've got a fair few security products that we use in-house. There is quite a lot. I would guess most of the vendors you see on our cloud market we use in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
There is another question in the chat.
Which one have we missed? Oh, actual chat. Hang on.
As MFA's foundation of security is the way to add MFA to your hosted exchange. That's a great question, Alan. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I will find out unless you know the answer to that, Chris.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to go and find out for you. Any more before we finish up? If you don't feel like I said, if you don't feel like asking a question here, feel free to email us, as I mentioned, cybersecurity@giacom.com. Reach out to myself directly. You'll find me on LinkedIn. Email format is the same as everyone else's. So Christopher, spelled with a K, .ford@giacom.com. Feel free to reach out. Let us know if you've got any questions, if you need anything on this topic, and we can help you where we can. Also,